Good morning, everybody. I'm back here where it all began, high atop Hobbit Hill, overlooking Waukesha, Wisconsin. That's not really the name of this little park, but that's what my kids called it when they were little, and that's what we still call it. But good morning. Man, what a journey it's been. After I summited Katahdin, I came down into Millinocket and hung out there. And next day went down to Bangor and hang out there. And a couple of days kind of celebrating and getting used to clocks and cars and all of the busy people zipping around. I went over to New Hampshire, to Portsmouth, to visit my buddy Snacks. And it was really good to see him. Went out and finally got to eat some lobster and steamers. And that was good. White blaze? Nah. Just a rock on the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. What's your advice?
My advice for the trail. What would it be? 2022, right? Class of 2022. Yeah.
22.
So I would say no deadlines. Don't give yourself a deadline for anything.
All right.
You know, just hike the hike, because you never know what the day is gonna throw at you. You could, end up anywhere.
It might be hot and you're at a pond.
Might be hot. You're at a pond and you want to go swimming. And you might want to pitch your tent right there on the edge of the pond. But yeah, take your time with it. That's it.
That is sound advice. Thank you,
I think so, yeah.
Lobster and steamers, guy. Wicked pisser. After that, I decided, well, since I have, I guess I got more miles hiked than money left in the bank. Took the Greyhound bus, sounded like a good idea. All the way back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I figured to go through Boston or something like that, but man, later that night, I had to sit for 3 hours at Times Square at the Greyhound station there, and it was just bustling, almost like at midnight, there was just a million people and lights. That was a rude welcome back for this old hiker. Oh yeah. Hello, Milwaukee. Made it on back after 46 hours or something like that. And been here visiting my brother in Waukesha, where I used to live, kind of my old home. And it's been pretty nice, but a little bit sad, I think, too, because I really missed the mountains. I missed that. Just every day out there was so much fun and new and exciting and challenging, and kind of missed that. Man, I was so happy. I succeeded in checking the box on my list, the oldest box I had since I was a little kid, and my granddaddy, he showed it to me. I wanted to hike from one end to the other, that trail, and I did. Check. Oldest box, checked. And to my future self, man, remember that, because it took a lot of work. Be proud of it. Be proud of it. Once you come back to other places, it doesn't really mean much in the real world, but man, it was something. Remember that, future Huck. So for the numbers of the hike, I guess you can say, I summited October 6th. I have a cheat sheet here. I'm not all that great with numbers, but I summited on October 6th, and my number there at Baxter Park was 1289 when I signed in. In the beginning in Amnicalola, I signed the book that day, and I was number 1355. That was March the 30th when I started hiking the AT. In Harper's Ferry, I was number 531 to get my picture taken, and signed in the book there. And that was June 20th. So people that like numbers, they can crunch it all down, but I took 6 months and 7 days to hike the 2,193 mile trail. Man, 2,193 challenging miles in so many ways, but so rewarding. I wouldn't change a thing about it. So I also want to say thanks to everybody out there that helped me along, and from the littlest ways you might not even remember to the biggest, I guess. And I want to say thank you. The hikers, amazing people, and the other people that I met too, Mike and Dan, Joy, who I met there and up in Maine. To everybody out there, thank you so much. To Snacks and to Cotton Candy, man, you two are the best hiking partners a person could have out there. I had the most fun with you guys, and no slight to anybody else, but man, you two are awesome, and it was really my pleasure to meet you and get to know you both. So, thanks, guys. So what inspired me to make this journey? My grandpa showed it to me, I guess, when I was little, and that's what started it all. I talked about that when I was in Pennsylvania, and I think it was the Going Home video. And I don't really remember the number, I haven't watched them yet, but my grandpa showed it to me. I used to read all sorts of adventure books and stuff, and so I just thought that to start like in Georgia and just hike all the way to Maine would be cool, and I did it, and it was pretty cool. I think I always kind of liked adventure and spent my life outdoors, camping and hunting, fishing, and it just seemed like sort of like training for that. And then you get there and you don't have to eat squirrels all along the way and everything like some people think, but it's I was real comfortable there, and I just loved it. That's kind of what inspired it, though, my grandpa. So one of the questions I got was what I loved the most. And that is probably the hardest question to answer because there was so much to love about it. I was struggling with this question, but the people that you meet are amazing. And just the daily challenge of the trail, I think sounds kind of generic, but I just love that. Every day it was kind of the same. Your goal was just to keep moving north, but there's all sorts of challenges and obstacles, and you just had to take it as it comes and deal with each thing and, man, have a lot of fun along the way. And that is really what I love the most. The rainy days were just as fun as the hot ones, as fun as the flatter ones, just challenging in different ways. And you never really knew what you were going to get. But you had everything you needed to deal with anything, and you were used to doing it, so it really made it fun. When it comes to like what sections that I love the most, that's a hard one. Everyone had its own character too, but I think Maine, after getting through the Whites, which was so hard and challenging and rewarding being up there, and some of the views, but Maine had a ruggedness. It was rough and challenging, but it was so beautiful. And it had a little bit of everything. It had the ponds and the lakes and the rivers and the mountains and the views. And when I was going through, it had the colors. There wasn't but one mosquito that I saw in all of Maine, and it landed on me. I blew it, and it flew away in Maine, like that. Man, that was one of the best sections. And probably because it was the end. Kind of everything that it took to get there, that was probably my favorite. But I think without question I'd go back and hike any of the other sections too. Pennsylvania, kind of my early home. I love that. A lot of people hated that. But favorite section, Maine. I think so. Most memorable place, probably trail days. I got to meet so many people, some of whom I had seen, some were famous, Ram Dino and Quicksand and Hawk and those guys, and others, old friends that I hadn't seen for 400 miles or something. So it was that was one of the most memorable places. I would have to say trail days in Damascus, Virginia. So to answer the question of most memorable people, whew, it's pretty tough, but I think the answer's simple. It's cotton candy, snacks. Those two are both just the best people to hike with, and I hiked for 1,000 miles plus, with each of them, and definitely most memorable. It's like I got a little brother and a little sister now. Hope that doesn't embarrass you guys. As for my favorite thing about the trail, I think is just the simple freedom you have with you all the time. Everything that you need. The stuff that you think you need, you don't need it. You pitched that long ago. The extra stuff of the things you need, you pitched those long ago. You just got a little bit in your pack, but it's just what you need. And you're free to eat and sleep, and just as long as you keep following those blazes, it's just an amazing sense of freedom. Simple. That's probably my favorite thing about the trail, about hiking in general. And it's a great feeling. The cost of it is you have to do everything. If you want water, you got to find that stream, you got to find the spring and filter it with everything else. But if you want hot water, you got to heat that up. There is something nice about the towns, I think. You can just turn on hot water. But at the cost of freedom, I guess. Man, I don't know. So many people that start this journey hiking the AT from one end to the other, like I did, they don't make it. And people ask me about my drive, where it comes from to get up each day and to do this. And one of the examples I have, I couldn't answer that question so well, but it was kind of like the little baby sea turtles when they're born. They come up out of the sand and they just head to the sea. They don't think about it. They just get up and they do it. There's birds and animals and all sorts of dangers in the way. And they don't bother with that. They just get up and they just do it because that's what they do. And that was the best way that I could describe it for me. I know a lot of people hike for a lot of different reasons, but it was just what I do and love doing. And so that's kind of where it comes from. And one of the cool things, when I was in the 100-mile wilderness, it was the day that I first got my first sight of Katahdin in the distance. A little bit after that, when I was hiking along, I found a baby, like turtle, a little tiny baby snapping turtle that had died. And it was long dead. It was all black, but all the little nutrients from that, it soaked down in, and there grew a mushroom underneath it that was as big, the top was as big as the log next to it. And that mushroom just lifted that little turtle way up high into the air, and this most beautiful mushroom that grew there from that. And it kind of just reminded me of the whole cycle of life, how beautiful that is. It was, I don't know why, it was towards the end, and I was just trying to soak as much out of it as I could, and then to see Katahdin, and then to see that, and man, it really hit for me. Life is beautiful. So what do I have planned next? PCT, CDT? I've been asked that, one of the questions, and I don't know that either of them is going to be next. I really love, this was my first through hike and I really loved it. I'd like to do more of it. And there's a trail that runs there in Wisconsin, the Ice Age Trail. It's 1,100 and some miles long. And it kind of follows the edge of the last glacier that came through. And I'm thinking I kind of like to hike that this spring. So I think I'll probably be holed up here in Wisconsin somewhere, working as much as I can, save my money. Come springtime, I think I'm going to tackle the Ice Age Trail. That being said, I guess that dream or that goal, it doesn't, without a plan to get there, that's just a wish, it's just a hope. And so I'm going to get myself my plan, just work as much as I can and figure out all the things that I'm going to need for that journey. And I'm going to make that happen, I think. As the details develop, I think I'll share them and probably record along the way, film along the way, and have fun with that hike. I will be making a gear video, a post-trail gear video. Everything that I had in my pack at the end, and be interesting to compare that with my beginning one. I suspect it's a little bit lighter. So I'll look for that, I guess, in the next week or two. I'll have that out. And it's a change, but I think I have my next adventure. I think I have my next goal. So just start making a list of how I'm gonna get me there and doing it. Man. So until next time, if you're out there hiking still, happy hiking. And if you're not, let's just try and get out there and enjoy it little pieces as we can, I guess. Happy hiking, everybody.